And Sherilyn, I'll let you share your screen, and you may have to stop sharing, Hannah, so that another presentation can come up. But just keep in mind the 5 minutes of presentation and then 5 minutes of Q&A. Sherilyn, you're muted. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Awesome.
All right, and
we're seeing a split screen here where it says you're sharing your screen and then the presentation as well. There we go.
Here we go. We're gonna get started. Start.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh. Looks like she may have gotten kicked out. Can we call an audible? And Bryan, you're first on my screen. Can you start your presentation, Bryan Coy?
You bet.
Okay. Look at that preparation. Just seamlessly sliding in with your presentation, Bryan. Really appreciate it.
No problem. All right, let me scroll over here. This is taking a while to load. Here we
Maybe
go.
on the same internet connection as Sherilyn.
Possible. All right, you guys see that presentation
Yes.
going? Okay. So my name's Bryan with Medical Cart AR, and the mission and purpose here is to be transforming training for these lifesavers. And at the end, I'll have an ask for everybody, but I'm going to start with some background. So when we think of augmented reality or AR, if you're like me, your first introduction was with Pokemon Go. My kids are obsessed with this game right now. And I say game because augmented reality has been a game for a long time, but it's also become a tool for a variety of different industries. And with medicine in particular, medical cart training is an avenue that we're pursuing. And we're using augmented reality for that. And when I think of medical school, medical training, nursing programs, all the late nights of studying, all the exams, all the hospital stays that you're working in, if I was to encapsulate that experience for these guys and these gals, it would be, in one word, intense. Medical training is intense. And with nurses specifically, you're learning a lot at the bedside with patients while learning from a senior nurse. You're also training on devices that happen about yearly. You're also going through a very extensive series of checklists of skills that you have to be taught and vetted, that you have competence in those things. And you're also, when you're not doing all that and you're not with patients, and hopefully you're getting some downtime too, but when you're not doing any of that, you're on the computer doing more training. You're training on, what do I do when someone has sepsis? What do I do when a family member is in the room and they're behaving in this manner? What do I do with a patient when they're experiencing X, Y, or Z? So this training, it's nonstop. It's always going, and it's very cumbersome. It's a burden on these training staff, on these nursing teams. So with crash carts specifically, something that makes it difficult for training is there's no standard cart. There's no national standard. And when they do trainings, they're infrequent. Sometimes they're quarterly, sometimes they're annually, but for sure it's going to happen at least every 2 years because of some national requirements. And those two things combined lead to skill gaps. And those skill gaps lead to low confidence with these nurses. Now, that's where Medical Cart AR comes in, is we can provide, and it takes us about a month, but we can have facility-specific carts in augmented reality so that you can get hands muscle memory. You can build muscle memory with these carts because they are facility-specific. And that translates into higher confidence for these nurses. And here's a quick video showing how it works. You download the app on your phone, you scan your environment. As you're scanning your environment, it's finding the best place to put that cart. You load it up on your screen, and you can start interacting with the cart in real time from the comfort of your own couch. And when you're in the app, there's a couple places you can go. You can go in a quick search if you just want to look something up. You can look it up in augmented reality, and you can do time challenges that simulate a real life scenario. And these are a couple screen grabs that I made of what each of those options look like: quick search, explore in AR, and time challenges. And these really do provide a muscle memory type feel for these people using the app. So what are people saying about it? You have people saying, wow, this is amazing. They have things that they're telling me, I have a fear of not knowing where things are at. This makes it so easy. I don't even have to crack a cart. This is a great way to get what admin wants done in a more efficient, more thorough, and a fun way. From hospital leadership, we're hearing, we're extremely focused on decreasing risk and liability. This app can go a long way to support that. And one of the things that stood out the most to me was when every second counts, the seconds add up quickly. So for our go-to market, we've got hospitals, nursing programs, simulation centers, over 6,000 hospitals, 2,600 programs, over 1,000 simulation centers. And we have other areas that we can get into the market using with this technology. And so what this is, it's a win-win for everybody. The nurses have higher confidence. That leads to elevated performance. That higher performance leads to better patient care. That better patient care and that higher performance is going to reduce liability for hospitals. So my ask for you guys today is, if you know anybody that are hospital admin or leadership or nursing college educators or people that are simulation lab experts, if you can make any introductions for that, for myself to engage with those people, I'd really appreciate it. And I just wanted to say thanks. Let's connect.
Awesome, Bryan. You were 44 seconds faster than your 5 minutes. So you have an extra 44 seconds of Q&A time.
Nice. Let's hear it.
Looks like George asked no financial ask slide right now. Is that correct?
I'm, as far as funding, that's correct. I mean, I'm open to having those discussions, but I have revenue projections and stuff if you want to see that. And I can share my screen again to do that.
What are the hardware requirements?
You just need an iOS or Android phone, and you're able to download it on your phones.
Or tablets, correct?
Or tablets, yep.
What other questions does the group have for Bryan, or suggestions or things that you would suggest on the presentation?
I have a question.
Go for it.
So how does the VR actually work? I mean, you hold the phone up and you put your hand in front of it, or do you use Google Glass or something like that to open?
We don't use Google Glass. It's from your phone, it looks as if it's in your room, and then you interact with the device, with the cart, just tapping on the screen.
On the screen of your phone?
Correct.
Oh, okay. All right. So it helps you know where things are and how to get to them and so forth.
That's right. Yep.
Very cool.
It's specifically for training. There's no mapping to like how a cart is set up for a specific center or hospital, correct?
So that's kind of our angle, is we can provide, it takes about a month to do this, but we can provide an exact replica of any facility's crash cart, so that when people are using the app on their phone, it can be specific to their crash cart at their hospital. That answers your question, right?
Definitely. You started with the Pokemon Go, so I'm honing in on the gamification piece. Like,
Yeah.
Are you offering certifications? Are you offering like credits? Are you keeping track of performance? Is it basically running through flashcards of knowing where things are? How are you thinking of like keeping the nurse or trainee engaged?
It's not like flashcards per se. It's the engagement piece of it is the interaction that you're able to open up and close drawers. but also there's a portion of it called time challenges, where predetermined scenarios are presented, and there's pre-selected correct answers. So people are able to read that prompt, go into the cart, and they have a time limit to go and find those items. And it does keep track of their performance, how long it takes to find one of 5, 6 materials, and then their overall accuracy score.
Cool, thank you.
Yep.
Any challenges or experience from the group that you would foresee for Bryan? Yeah, got a hand raised, Vadim.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to say, Bryan, it was a nice explanation of the problem. I was engaged and I understand it completely well. So this is not the thing that startups usually good at, but you mastered it. And I think that you should add analysis of competitors, because AR is not just appearing, it's out there for quite some time. And I remember the startup that they've been talking about the pretty much same approach, but for different domain, not nurses. It was something else, some educational material. So maybe just a recommendation to add some analysis of competitors.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah.
I had that in my appendix slides here. This is one, if I was to say we have a direct competitor, someone doing exactly what we're doing, or very close, this would be it. And there are some indirect competitors that they could be competitors, but there also might be partnership opportunities. So I really appreciate you bringing that up. I've been really trying to understand the competition a little bit more recently.
Cool.
Thank you.
Awesome. Any other quick questions before we move to the next pitch? Bryan, your biggest ask was, can you repeat your ask again?
I can. Yep. I'm on my ask is there's three locations I'm looking to get more contacts in. It's hospital administration or leadership, and then also simulation centers for medicine, the medical world, people that run simulations. And then the third is anyone that you might know who is in faculty or admin of nursing programs.
Okay. So if anyone is able to help Bryan on those fronts, please connect with him. Bryan, I don't know if you put your contact information in the chat, but I would propose you do that, suggest you do that. And we can move on to our next pitch. Hannah, we changed up the agenda on the fly. What would you suggest our next pitch should be?
Let's do George.
Okay.
Sweet. Love it. Let's do it, guys. Awesome. Well, I hope everyone is having a fantastic Tuesday today. Good to see everybody. I'll jump right into it here. Is this looking good for y'all?
Perfect.
Awesome. Love it, man. Taylor, good to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Cool, guys. Hey, well, my name is George. This is ThunderStrike. We do automated AI prospecting based off of your CRM data. But what the heck does that even mean? Before we jump into that, let me tell you a little bit about our team, if it lets me here. See, there we go. So like I said, my name is George. I'm the CEO, and this is my co-founder, Orion. My previous experience is actually in venture capital. So previously raised millions of dollars for startups from pre-seed all the way to Series B. And I've worked in sales and in growth roles for most of my life. So was able to generate $1.8 million in pipeline in just even 4 months. Also getting 30,000 warm leads in a CRM in 6 months. I converted very, very high. A lot of this was through different content strategies, direct marketing, email marketing, you name it. And also was able to establish some really great partnerships and work in coordination with some guys that you can see right there. Orion, he's way cooler and way smarter than me. He's the guy that is building all of this out. So he's the technical side of things. So we actually used to work over at Quick a startup that went from seed to Series B in 1 year. So they had 10,000% growth and Inc. 32 fastest growing companies. The main reason that Orion and I are working together is he has incredible experience in designing systems that can process information at scale, so at millions per second. You can see down there, you know, he's deployed thousands of lines of code. He has essentially increased development velocity by over 60% for a lot of different projects, and he is just a genius when it comes to the technical side. So but what is the problem? So let's kind of jump into it. If you've ever been in sales, you know what I'm talking about. So you're wasting about 40% of your day prospecting, manually making these lead lists, and you honestly probably have horrible data quality. So what that looks like is you're using LinkedIn Sales Nav, PitchBook, Crunchbase if you're selling B2B, trying to cross-reference all that data. You really have no idea what is the most accurate, who is your ideal customer, and it's taking you hours to make all of this stuff. And it's costing you a ton of money as well for all the different softwares. So what do? We take this all the way down to 0% for any of the time you are spending on your manual prospecting currently. And we can tell you exactly who your customer is. And we do this through large language models. That's an LLM, you know, and then our AI and ML algorithms that we've coded actually from the ground up as our core technology. So what do we do, guys? Well, we help actually generate a lot more deals for these people. We give them 1,000x on their data sources. So to give you kind of a rundown, just really quick, this is one of the most important parts of what I'll say. Our AI acts like a team of data analysts for your pipeline, right? So we go into your sales and your CRM, and we understand why your deals are closing, why they aren't, why they're churning. We take all of that data and put it into a customer persona and multiple customer personas. We deploy our AI bots to scrape hundreds of thousands of different websites. We can scrape 10,000 websites a minute. We give you a lead list that can convert 2 to 4 times higher on average. So that is a little bit about what we're doing. And 3 simple areas of how it makes your life way better and why you'll love us is we're giving you a lot more data sources. We show you exactly who your customers are, because a lot of times you're not going to hire a data analyst to go into your sales pipeline and figure it out. And we automatically generate the lead list for you, so you don't waste hours spending and doing that. So we leverage also competitor analysis to automatically generate these lead lists specific to you and your company for these customer profiles. It's really easy. It genuinely is. So all you have to do is you make an account, you sign in, describe your customer, and describe your campaign in a few sentences. So what I described to you earlier about our AI acting like a team of data analysts for your sales pipeline, that is one core feature of what we do. We also have another feature that is essentially like a chat GPT for lead lists. So you just say exactly what you want, and we go forward from there. Love it. What we've seen is it automatically enhances performance by a factor of 4 from a study from McKinsey. And 6 months ago, this just was not possible with AI and where it's at today. No other tool uses specific CRM data and unstructured domain-specific data. We are actually at 123K in just 6 weeks, and we have signed on Start Engine, Cap Chase, and are piloting with Brex. Here's the market, and here's our financial ask. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. This is me.
Awesome,
Happy to
George.
answer any questions.
You were only 2 seconds over. That is impressive.
Oh man, 2 seconds over. What about?
But I mean, when did I really start the timer? Who knows?
I know. Heartbreaking. Heartbreaking.
Okay, it looks like you've got a question from Karen in the chat. And then if anybody else has other questions, either throw your hand up in Zoom or unmute yourself when it's quiet.
Karen, okay, so do we give you access to our pipe drive? Yes. So essentially, if you have a pipe drive, a HubSpot, a Salesforce, whatever that looks like, we get in there. Our kind of motto is the more data, the better. So we do work with a ton of early stage startups that don't have a ton of data, but we can grab essentially that. And what you're saying, can you pull data from our competitors? Yeah, we scrape all of the info on the internet about your competitors as well if you don't have that data. And then we give you test data based off of that to make ideal customer personas for you, so we can actually monitor that process through your pipeline. So from initial email all the way to close, we'll be able to gather data on what your ideal customers are. Are we going to file for patent protection? Funny you ask. We are definitely talking about it right now. So great. Does each CRM you connect to contribute to your LLM? Well, in a way, I guess it is customer specific. So essentially when we connect to your CRM, we have core tech. So literally the LLM side of things is like very minimal, a few percent of our core technology. All that's doing is essentially when you type in what you want, it's just communicating to our code base for what we've coded from the ground up. And what that actually means is, yeah, per customer, it's going to go in there, understand exactly what's going on in your CRM, and then fill to our data warehouse. We deploy based off of that, fills into our data warehouse, and then goes straight back to each customer. So it is specific to you. Who's our ICP? Man, getting these great questions. ICP right now, we started down market, doing pre-seed around Series A, because that is my experience selling previously was kind of the pre-seed to Series B companies. Yeah, we ended up going a little bit more upstream to enterprise. Differentiation is a factor of things. To give you the quick rundown, essentially an Apollo would be a static database. It's not specific to you. You have to go in and you have to say what your customer is, guess who your customer is. You still have to make the lead lists by hand. And you're only still having that one data source. What we're doing is we're making it specific to your company, understanding everything, all of your data as a company of what's working and what's not. And then from that point moving forward, making it specific to you to actually get leads with really high buyer intent and a ton of context that not a lot of these guys would have. So recent social media posts, recent news articles, the revenue numbers, acquisitions. Essentially, we're the holistic data provider for you. Love it. Thank you. You're helping me out here, Taylor. Are we integrating with other lead gen tools? No, we are actually completely want to be that holistic lead gen provider, because a lot of the stuff you see on these lead gen tools and what they're not telling you is they're using just one big data pile from somewhere else. And they're not scraping and they're not making it specific. So it's just kind of one big clunky database, and they all just put a white label on it and hope that it does really well. What we're saying is we want to make it an actual custom experience at scale using tech for the first time, which is what we're solving for. Which LLM are we using? Love it. We're actually daisy chaining multiple LLMs. So we have about 5 LLMs that we've daisy chained. So happy to answer that on the side. What about security for your customer list? Yeah, we essentially are just integrated into your CRM, so we don't have to really worry about that a lot. We have gotten the question of SOC 2 compliance, which we are in the discussions of possibly going after right now. But I mean, currently that is not something that we've really faced. It really is just a plugin and understanding that data. Mike, do we have an open API for third-party developers? No, we do not. We want to keep our technology internal as of right now. In the future, though, we're big proponents on having open source communities to help other people and build other really great tools. Can we be a test case? Would love to help. Message me directly. What does the output look like? CSV, PDF formats, also in our software. You can see it in the lists and get a comprehension. I'm sure I'm probably over on time, aren't I, Taylor? I'm sorry. I'm just working.
It just went off. So yeah, there's some questions in the chat, and I would encourage everybody else to write your questions down. And then George, if you want to just take a minute or two while we've got the other presentations, you can address each one of those questions in the chat. If that's all right.
Love it. Yeah, sounds great. And hopefully this answers the last thing is when we've been piloting with Brex, and they last call said they were astounded by the results. They've never been able to see anybody get this data before. And we scraped over 400,000 websites for those guys, cross-referenced all the data and made sure it was super accurate with a ton of context. So hopefully that answers some of the data questions and how it works and all those things. So Taylor,
Awesome.
thank you so much, man. This was awesome. Everybody,
George.
thank you for listening. I really appreciate it.
Fantastic job. It looks like your email has been up on the screen. Hopefully people have taken that down, but feel free to put your contact information in the chat as well. Sherilyn, are you back with us? Sorry, we had some technical issues.
I am back. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
My apologies. All
No
right,
worries.
let's see. We'll do this again.
All right.
I can't stop my screen yet. Hold on.
Yeah. George, do you mind stopping sharing? How about now? And am I saying your name right? Is it Sherilyn?
Yes, that's perfect. Thank you.
Okay. I will, as soon as you get this going, I'll start the timer and then I will try and show you the time on my screen in a really professional way with my phone, as I did. So,
okay. Can you see my screen?
yes.
Awesome. Wonderful. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I am Sherilyn Casiano, CEO and founder of Dynamic HQI, Inc. I am here to introduce you to Dynamic HQI, Inc., a platform that empowers general partners, investors, and entrepreneurs with high-quality information. Over the last 4 years, GPs and investors invest $1.9 trillion in venture-backed enterprises and expect to lose over 70% of their investment. GPs, investors, and founders are actively finding ways to mitigate their losses, such as offering platform services. But their success depends on access to accurate, high-quality information. With our platform, GPs, investors, and founders will have instant access to the HQI they need to make evidence-based decisions to mitigate their losses.
Sure, then I'm not seeing you advance your slides. Is everybody else?
No, we're not.
Ah, that's interesting. Okay, hold on.
It's like your screen is frozen.
Oh,
There's
no.
an amazing picture of me up on it too.
All right, let's see.
Maybe stop share and try and reshare.
Yep, hold on. Excellent. Let's do this again. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Not yet. We could for a second and then it's gone.
Oh, okay.
Maybe we can jump into our next presentation as you're doing some technical work, Sherilyn, if that's
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Bryan, would you be
Thank
able
you.
to jump in?
Yeah, I'm happy to, Taylor.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. And Taylor, just to clarify, how much time do we have?
5 minutes of presentation and then 5 minutes of Q&A.
Okay, perfect. And if it's all right with you, I'll just talk without a presentation, if that's okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, perfect. Okay, well, great being with you all. Grateful. Grateful to be here. Look forward to meeting you all in the near future. So I'm Ryan. I'm a co-founder of Alysio. So if you've ever been in sales or wanted a sales team to succeed, which is hopefully everyone, you may have asked yourself the question, what does a good day in sales look like? It's a tough question. Alysio is here to help you answer that question. So like most startups, There was a garage involved in our beginning. My co-founder Aaron was sitting in his garage in California when he called me and said, "Hey, I have an idea that we need to pursue." So Aaron and I met right out of undergrad. We were working at Goldman Sachs. We wanted to get into tech as soon as possible. I left and joined a business intelligence platform and built out their business development team. And then Aaron, on the other hand, went to Qualtrics and started selling. He had a great run at Qualtrics, was there through the SAP acquisition, and then he went and sold with Okta and Lacework. And when Aaron called me, he said, "Hey, when I was at Qualtrics, we had every sales tool under the sun. As I'm sure a lot of you are aware, it's a crowded space. They were using Salesforce, Clary, Gong, Outreach, you name it, they had it. But for them, when it came to effectively tracking and gamifying daily productivity and answering the question, hey, what does a good day in sales look like? There was a gap for them. And so they created a spreadsheet and they assigned weightings to each KPI. So 10 calls could be a point, for example. One demo could be 2 points. For example, a closed deal could be worth 5 points. And it was up to everyone on the team to go and get 10 points every day. If they did that, they knew they had a good day and their manager knew they had a good day. And they quickly realized there was a correlation between the teams that were using this spreadsheet and those that were going to President's Club and hitting quota. And so by focusing on those lead indicators as opposed to lag indicators, they were seeing a lot of success. And so when we looked at the sales tech stack landscape, we broke it into 3 categories. So when you think customers, you think your CRM, so Salesforce, HubSpot. That's the first category. When you think revenue intelligence, you think Clary, Apollo, Outreach, Gong. It's a crowded space. When you think people, leveraging and capitalizing on your most valuable asset, what do you think of? Typically, there's a gap. There's a gap for answering the question, how do I effectively manage and incentivize my people? So Alysio took the framework that Qualtrics used and allows you to implement a 10-point framework. The 10-point framework is completely customizable. So you come in here, you pick out the lead indicators that you want your team focused on, and then it's up to each individual to go and hit their 10 points every day. Again, our goal is to help sales teams drive productivity and answer the question, what does a good day in sales look like? So if you have an individual who has back-to-back demos on a particular day, they're likely going to hit their 10 points. If not, they're going to have to spend their time on LinkedIn messages, on cold calling, on emails. We integrate with CRM so we can pull all that data into our platform, but we also want to take advantage of social selling activities. So for KPIs that live outside of your CRM, we can pull those, we can record those in our platform. So if you want to track LinkedIn messages or LinkedIn posts, all of that data can be stored within our platform. So we want to break down the data silos so that sales leaders and sales reps know exactly what they're doing on each and every day and how they can have a productive day. If you've been in sales, there are probably 2 other pains that may resonate. The first being competitions. So competitions drive additional productivity. Our 10-point framework drives productivity on a daily basis at no expense to the company, but we realize competitions can also be effective. And so our platform allows you to come in, spin up a competition. It could be first person to get a new demo, gets a $50 gift card. We realize the payout process can be time consuming. So we've taken that off of your plate. We've integrated with a company called Tremendous. So as soon as the winner is declared in our platform, they get an email and they can go choose from over 100 different gift cards. The last piece pertains to meeting management. So if you've been in sales, you're probably familiar with one-on-one meetings. Oftentimes those insights are stored in OneNote, in Slack, in Gmail. We've created a repository so you can create one-on-one meeting templates. They go to all of your team, they fill it out within our platform, and then the managers or sales leaders can go in and actually review the data. So our ultimate goal is to empower sales teams to succeed. Current customers are seeing a 30% increase in qualified pipeline because of our platform. So again, thank you for your time. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Nice job, Ryan. 15 seconds under. Impressive. Man, it's hard to do a 5-minute pitch. Well done.
I cheated. I had a timer on my end too, so I was trying to keep it under 5.
Impressive. All right, let's jump into some Q&A. Anybody have questions they would like to pose to Ryan? First one I have, Ryan, is can you describe your ideal customer? Like who, and if you had a magic wand, what would you wish for right now for the company?
Yeah, great question. For ICP sales teams of 5 to 50 reps, we're targeting B2B SaaS. We know that's kind of a broad industry, but that'll continue to be our focus. There are other industries that are leveraging our platform. So we're currently speaking with insurance companies. We have real estate groups on the platform. So there are a few different industries that we'll continue to pursue, but our focus will remain B2B SaaS.
Okay.
And then Taylor, was there a second part of that question?
Yes, just wondered if you had a magic wand, what would you wish for right now for the company?
That's a great question. We have a great team in place. We have the platform is functioning very well. I would say we just want more exposure and more customers.
Okay. Couple of questions in the chat from Kent and Cesar.
Yeah, great question, Kent. So we realize that a theme right now is tool consolidation. And so how we're approaching this is we go back to kind of those 3 categories. The first, you need a tool for your customers. So HubSpot or Salesforce in most cases. You need kind of a revenue optimization or intelligence tool, like what George was talking about. We use Apollo, and there's a lot of consolidation going on in that category alone. So the Gongs, the Apollos, the Clarys, the Outreaches, they're all kind of offering similar functionality. And so we think in the near future, you will only need one of those tools. And then again, we kind of fill the gap when it comes to your people. So we don't replace Gong. We kind of fill the gap when it comes to effectively managing and incentivizing your people. LinkedIn. So Ryan Harris. Let's see, Cesar. I'm happy to look you up after. Would love to connect. George, love the pitch. I would agree. Let's use ThunderStrike. And then how do gifts work? So yeah, great question. So how it works is, again, what we realize is there's typically when managers do competitions, it can be time consuming to work with finance to send a gift card. And so we wanted to streamline that process. So the idea of sending a gift card doesn't limit or prohibit you from doing a competition. So we've integrated with Tremendous. How that works is you go in, you essentially put an amount in your Tremendous account. It could be $1,000, for example. And then each time you run a competition, you just draw from that amount. So if you do $50 gift card, when the winner is determined in our platform, they get an email and they can go select a gift card for $50. Let's see. Please email. Yes, Mike, I'll email you.
Maxwell, did you get your questions answered on how our team's budgeting for that? And does it take away the deal closed comp?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just an internal mechanism and inevitably some internal math to be figured out on how these competitions want to be run, as far as I understand it.
Totally.
Ultimately, leaders having a pile of money they're expecting to spend on this kind of competitions is where it starts.
Spot on.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You
Weston,
also
thanks for the shout out. We love you. One of our favorite customers.
Yeah, you got a glowing recommendation there from Weston, also one of our partners. So awesome, Weston. Thanks so much. Ryan, really appreciate this. Thank you. And if you want to, looks like Hannah put your LinkedIn in the chat, and your email. So everybody feel free to reach out to Ryan if you've got additional questions or interest in the platform. Ryan, thanks so much for the presentation. Great job.
Yeah, thank you all. Look forward to connecting.
Sherilyn, let's try this again.
Yes.
Are you there?
Yes, I am. Here I am. Okay. Okay.
Looking good.
Okay. Ta-da. Well, finally, here I am. So good afternoon. I'm Sherilyn Casiano, CEO and founder of SI Williams Wealth Management and Dynamic HQI. I'm here to pitch on Dynamic HQI. It's a platform that enables general partners, investors, and entrepreneurs with the high quality information that they need to make evidence-based decisions about their investments. Over the last 4 years, GPs and investors invest 1.9 trillion in venture-backed enterprises, and they expect to lose over 70% of their investment. They are actively finding ways to mitigate their losses, such as platform services, but their success depends on access to accurate, high-quality information, the Holy Grail. With our platform, GPs, investors, and founders will have instant access to the high-quality information they need to make evidence-based decisions to mitigate their losses. Our target is approximately 25% of the serviceable addressable market for venture-backed enterprises. We see the biggest opportunity is with venture-backed enterprises because GPs and investors often struggle to get high-quality information from their founders. Dynamic HQI makes it easy to access and analyze. Our customer lifetime value continues to grow with an increase of 60% over the last 12 months, and annual contract value has grown 143% in the same period. We offer a do-it-yourself SaaS subscription and done-for-you services. We provide a fully integrated single platform for all stakeholders. Our proven technology has been in production over 8 years, hosted on Amazon. We plan to enhance our services with SaaS deployment and customized dashboard, reporting, and analysis. We plan to leverage these strategies and channels. We are seeking to raise $5 million, and the funds will be used to develop the technology, sales and marketing, and teams and operations. A bit about me. I got my start in alternative investment space working with Henry Kravis and the New York General Partners at KKR. I thank you for your time. We believe that with your support, Dynamic HQI can revolutionize the way we access and utilize high-quality information in the venture capital space. Okay. Our team, Kathy Glass has a number of over 20 years experience managing operations for alternative investment operations and servicing investors across multiple disciplines. And that is my pitch. Thank you.
Awesome. Sherilyn, thanks so much. Great job. So first question in the chat, do you do due diligence?
Yes, we do for our clients. Yes.
Okay. And is that part of the done-for-you services that you were talking about?
Yes, it is. It is part of our done-for-you services.
Okay. Any other questions from the group?
Can you elaborate on the technology? It seems as if you're providing a service today and you need to build the technology, or you have a little bit of it built, but you want to change it. Is that what the fundraise is about?
Yes. So we have a technology in production that we use. We are looking to re-platform that technology and make it a SaaS technology. We're also expanding our service offering with the new platform to bring together the GPs, the investors, and the founders so that they're sharing the same information at the same time. So in the 20+ years that I've been working in the alternative investment space and servicing ultra high net worth investors, the biggest challenge, whether you're a GP or an investor, is getting the information that they need to make proactive evidence-based decisions. And there is a confluence of the data that they need, where the founders have challenges getting the data to the investors and GPs, and the GPs have the challenge of being able to normalize the data in an efficient and streamlined way to be able to perform the types of analysis that they need to make decisions around how best to support their founders, whether to make that follow-on investment or not, or to even recommend the founders to or connect them to other service providers and resources that will help them in their business. My customers are emerging venture capital fund managers, ultra high net worth investors, and founders that are funded with venture-backed funds.
Which of them would be paying for it, or would all of them pay for the service?
All will pay for the service.
Okay.
The venture-backed founders need to maintain accurate books and records and financial reporting that they share not only with the investors, but with their audit team and other stakeholders. The GPs need to access accurate, high-quality information from their founders to perform the analysis and due diligence that they do on a regular basis to report to their investors. And ultra high net worth individuals who manage or invest directly into founders also require the same access to perform the same kind of due diligence and analysis to make decisions as to whether or not to continue to invest in a venture-backed company or to exit.
Do you see any existing competitors in the market, or are you planning on leveraging like your existing book of business to be that initial user base?
We don't have a one-to-one competitor. Let's pull up this slide. What we do have there are other service providers that handle components of our services, but they don't really have a fully integrated platform. For example, let's say AssetVantage. They are a general ledger technology, and they do what they do really well, but they don't have the breadth of functionalities and features to effectively service all stakeholders. And yes, I do plan on leveraging my existing book of business.
Awesome. Any other questions from the group? Okay, Sherilyn, how is I think Hannah put your LinkedIn up above in the chat. If anyone would like to reach out to you, do you also want to share your email, or is LinkedIn best?
Sure, absolutely.
Great.
Let me put that in chat right now.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your presentation. We'll be highlighting all of the presenters and the presentations on the Midday Connect LinkedIn as well. So look for a shout out for all of you that presented. And anybody with questions, please reach out to each of the presenters. There's Sherilyn's email. And thanks for spending some time with us today. This was awesome. Really appreciate it. And we'll look forward to seeing everybody next week.
Thank you.
Thanks all.
Thank you, guys.